Peace, family. Welcome to A Deck a Day. Starseed energy still aligning, and this is the Starseed Oracle. And the Orgonized Mirs that we're working with today are what I refer to as the Elements collection. They are the Elements collection because they have not only crystals and copper, but they also have salt and herbs and rose petals and different organic materials in regards to that, tree branches, stuff of the sort. So this is the small one that has bloodstone in it, as well as, like I mentioned, salt and some herbs and rose petals and such. And I also do it with the organic materials, so they purposely create bubbles when you put too many organic materials in resin, which I also bring in the air element in regards to that. So we've got earth, you've got the water, energy to it, you've got metals, you have, air, all of the different elements, and then the copper brings the kind of fire vibe, as well as the glow in the dark stones at the top. And then the medium one that we have here has shungite in it. You see the bubbles, purposeful bubbles to bring in the air and the water vibe. And then this one has black tourmaline, and there's some steel in that as well. And again, all the bubbles and the frothiness and stuff. And that happens naturally when you put a lot of organic materials in the resin as it cures. So, whichever one of the element collection mirrors resonate with you, please do choose, and we'll see what Starseed energy has in store for you today. If you chose the little one with bloodstone, your message is Earth School, life lessons, soul growth, study, higher learning. If you chose this deck, you know that you have a very, very specific purpose that you may be hesitating on because you don't think that you know enough. You're questioning and wondering if you're ready, if you are going to be equipped, if you are going to be able to answer all of the questions, if you're going to be able to have all the details right, all of the things that we, hesitate on because we feel like something should be perfect before we give it a try. I can understand that premise, especially being a perfectionist, and I'm a Virgo moon, so I'm very meticulous in regards to that. But there comes a point where something just has to feel ready, and that we can continue to make excuses, we can continue to, have all the reasons, even valid reasons, as to why we should not follow a specific dream. But if it's still nagging at you, if that thing is still there, to the point where you have to continue to create new excuses because it just keeps coming back, then it's time for you to take it a little bit more seriously. And a way to take it more seriously is in regards to studying and higher learning, and that is also going to give you the confidence in feeling like you're filling some gaps that you felt you maybe perhaps weren't ready for in regards to going forward with this venture. Life lessons that happen, as we talk about Earth School, that's the name of this card, because life is what teaches us things. The study and the higher learning isn't just in terms of a book or a class or a course or a degree. It's about life. It's about the ups and the downs. It's about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and realizing that all of those things in combination have led you to where you are today, and to put you in a position to have this passion, to have this very unique offering. Because anything that we can do and that we choose to do, nobody else can do, literally. And that doesn't mean that there's, nobody else that's going to be in your brand, or you won't have any competitors or anything like that. It's just that the way you do it, only you can do. And there's got to be a point where we put value to that, the highest value to that. Because what is more valuable than realizing that you are one of a kind, you are absolutely unique, you are you are a star, literally made of star stuff. And we're put on this planet for a very, very specific, unique purpose that only you can fulfill. And you have a higher chance of figuring out what that is when you do something that makes you feel passionate, when you do something that is yours, that you created, that, again, nobody else could have done because it was your idea, because it's your baby, you know? So beyond, honor the life lessons and realize that that does lead to soul growth. And as a result, so much of what it is that we have to sell, for lack of a better word, or sacred service, like I coined Sacred Service Syndicate, for that reason, is because it is something that comes from such a depth of us that is part of our soul growth. And as a result of feeding that energy in that sacred center, it is feeding our soul, and as a result can only grow our soul. So definitely think about what that is, and also thinking about, again, the offering that you do have, that very unique offering that you have, and realizing that, you've been put on this earth to go through this level of school, to go through this, planetary degree, in a sense, and you pass every single day that you get up and have gratitude, and especially when you choose to pursue your passion and your purpose and feed your soul. So I hope that resonates with you. If you chose this middle one here with Shungite, your message is, man, earth is all, see, listen, I said earth, I'm using the elements, stones, mirrors today, and we're talking about earth. One of the original names that I had, and one of my AKA names for these mirrors, is Salt of the Earth, because of the very heavy dose of salt that I literally put in these mirrors. So I'm amazed right now that we got Earth School, and now we're getting activated Earth. Power places, ley lines, trust where you're led. So when we think about, I don't know if you know what ley lines are, but there is an energy grid that the earth is composed of, that we are connected to, especially when we are barefoot on the soil. And we're able to completely tap into the source of creation if we choose to get in tune. The notion of activated earth, it's like when I think about activating crystals or activating these mirrors, and even the point of a pyramid, the power of a pyramid, of a mirror, is activation. It's the energy source that it is tapped into, as above, so below. Its relation to the stars and to the soil and the sand and the limestone that it is made and composed of, and laying on, and was built and constructed on. So when there is that idea of that as above, so below, attunement, we as well can attune in that same way and become activated in that same way. Power places are, sacred places. People go on pilgrimages all of the time. So this is something that if you chose this card, it's calling to me very specifically, because I know that I have my power places that I want to visit. The first would be Kemet, and the Mirs, the pyramid and the Sphinx, the Hormaket. And Mount Zion, Mount Kenya, is another power place for me. And there's certain places that I know that I have on my list that I know I cannot wait to pilgrimage, that I want to go on this spiritual quest. And I have an inkling that you have, if you chose this pile, that you have a list, or even in mind of those places that feel like they pull you. That you feel like you're going to go there, and all of a sudden some portal is going to open, and you're just going to all of a sudden be a different person. For me, anywhere, any African soil, I know is going to do that for me. So whatever those places are for you, and even if it's not somewhere in another country, think about it, even if it's a waterfall, even if it's a water fountain, even if it's a church, even whatever it is, if you feel something is pulling you, there's an energy, there's a source. Again, this power places can be anywhere in nature. Could be barefoot on the soil, is an activation, like I said. So be connected to yourself, to your soul, to the earth, so that you can be led. Trust where you're led, to be led to those power places, to be able to follow those, grid lines, those song lines that are constructed in the earth's core that lead your soul beyond your consciousness, beyond what it is that you think you know, because it is something that is also beyond this life and beyond this life, from past to present to future. And there comes a point where we do have to trust what we don't know, trust in that energy so that it leads you to where you're supposed to be. It will lead you to the power place. And it may be you knowing one and you start there, and then all of the transmission, the downloads, the upgrades are going to come through to lead you to the next stop. So be open to that, and think about what those places are for you, and start visiting, especially if they're local, and especially if it's just about nature, but definitely if it's about getting on a plane, train or boat, think about how you're going to get there, because there's a reason for it. I know that it's all I think about. I can't wait. So if you chose this third one, the larger one, it's got black tourmaline, then your message is, oh my goodness. Guys, are you seeing this? Are you serious right now? Not all of the cards have earth in them, FYI. Earthed. Learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. All of this is connected. And I was drawn, and I knew that I had to connect with Starseed energy. And the irony, and the most irony, is that I knew that I had to connect with Starseed energy, and I wanted to do this for this particular week because I feel and I felt and got a lot of downloads in regards to grounding, especially because of how elated I feel spiritually, because of the intense downloads that have been coming through, and especially kind of portals in a way that have opened, especially since doing readings every day and for the collective and privately, and just connecting, and again connecting with sacred service, connecting with my queens, with us doing our passions and doing it as a community. All of that opens you on such an incredible level that you get high, you feel like you're it's euphoria. And then you need to make sure that you maintain a sense of balance and stay grounded and earth yourself and root yourself because of that, incredible high that you're constantly feeling. So the fact that we have 3 cards that were pulled here out of a 44 deck, and it's Earth School, Activated Earth, and Earthed. Clearly this is a message for a confirmation for me, and a message for all of you, how important grounding is. And again, back to the getting your bare feet on the soil as often as possible. Like just literally connect with the earth. It is tangible and spiritual and physical and emotional and simply by being barefoot on soil, on grass, on the ground. Let alone when you think about different ways that you can work with earth energy and with grounding energy, whether it's through crystals, like most of these bloodstone, tourmaline, and shungite are all earth stones. So there's again no accident that I happen to choose these 3, and again the elements collection, the salt of the earth collection. So this is intense for me personally, and I hope I'm not rambling and not making sense, because I'm kind of like trying to process this personally while being reading for pile 3 right now. But I'm like really amazed, and I'm definitely going to go into something a little bit more in depth for myself after this. But it's time to be aligned with the earth. It's also important because I've been exposed to a lot more information and confirmation spiritually and intuitively in regards to many of us being very hypnotized very easily, very led astray, very lost. And that is a result of a lack of grounding. It's a lack of rootedness. So the fact that Starseed energy is coming through and reiterating thrice about earthing, about grounding, it's time. And it is literally, for me, like they're telling us the only answer, the only thing that we need to do. And that's going to create the moderation and the temperance and break any spells that may be on us because we're not grounded enough. And it's time to break some spells, and it's time to be free, and it's time to be sovereign. And that's what they want for us. They gave us free will. God gave us free will. Nobody else gets to say we don't have it. I hope that resonates. Until tomorrow, unless we forget. Time to get back to natural. Peace.